when you're ready.
Women, explosion of Christianity.
Well, g'day Harbour Youth, this is Tom Batty, and this week we have a special guest with us today. This is my mate Kyrios. Say
G'day everyone, how you going?
Kyrios and I studied at Moore College together a little while ago. Now, over the last term, we've been asking the questions of hot topics. We've looked at money, we've looked at social media, we've looked at sex, we've looked at gender, but this week we are looking at the hottest topic there ever was. Hotter, in fact, than a baked bean jaffle. Now, you guys don't even know what a baked bean jaffle is. Do you know what a jaffle is?
Absolutely. Really?
A lot of the kids in this youth group don't even know what a jaffle is.
Are you serious?
Like, I often make the jaffle
Do you have
joke.
a jaffle maker?
Well, no, I don't actually. Do you have a jaffle maker still?
Yeah.
Anyway, the content of a jaffle are the hottest thing known on Earth except for this topic.
Exactly.
Can you think of anything hotter than the contents of a baked bean jaffle?
Possibly a can of baked beans in the fire exploding everywhere. But apart from that, no, because you bite the jaffle and then the beans burn your mouth.
That's right. But this topic is hotter than that, okay? What is it? We are looking at, can you trust the Bible? Can you trust the Bible as the Word of God? Now, essentially, this is what all of our topics come down to. How do we know that we can trust the Bible as the Word of God, as the truth for our life? Why can't I just reject it? So, Curious, we were chatting before.
Yeah.
Tell us, what are your thoughts? Why can we trust the Bible? And I might play a bit of devil's advocate as we go.
That's my favourite part of you, Tom.
Yeah.
All right.
The advocate or the devil?
Both.
Yeah, okay.
Together. In
Yeah.
one nice jaffle.
Saucy.
Indeed. So why can we trust the Bible? Well, I think if we think about Jesus, who himself, he was preaching from the Bible. He believed the Bible to be the Word of God. And in fact, he talked about his death and resurrection and the fact that the Bible predicted that.
Okay, so let's take a step back a second. So you're starting with Jesus.
Absolutely.
You assume that Jesus historically existed and was a real person.
Yes, that's without doubt. We can't even debate that.
Some people will, and they'll say he was kind of fictional, but that's just a load of rubbish.
It is.
Check Wikipedia.
Check Wikipedia. The most reliable source known to man apart from the Bible.
Yeah. Okay, so let's assume that Jesus was historical.
Yeah.
So how did Jesus treat the Bible? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah,
before?
exactly the question we need to look at. How did Jesus treat the Bible? And he treated it as the Word of God. He treated it as life-giving, as the manual we look at to how to do life.
Okay, so in a sense, Jesus teaches us that the Bible is the Word of God.
Exactly.
And so if we believe that Jesus existed,
Indeed.
then we kind of borrow his authority, his logic, and say, okay, if that's what Jesus did, then that's what we should do. Now, there's something that happened at the end of Jesus' life that also kind of helps us add weight to this argument as well. Jesus didn't just die.
No, he rose from the dead. And in fact, if we take the fact that Jesus rose from the dead, and if you can prove that, then it's also proof that the Bible is true.
Okay.
And it's the Word of God, because Jesus predicted that and taught that himself.
So there's a bit of a logic step there. If Jesus rose from the dead, then that proves something about everything that he said about the Bible.
Exactly.
Because being able to rise from the dead means something.
Means something amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
It means you're trustworthy and reliable.
Yeah.
And in fact, you have power over death. I mean, what more do you need?
Yeah, okay, so it's his ability to have that authority that makes it. Okay, so Jesus did that, he's got authority, so now we know that the Lord of the universe has spoken to us through his word, and that's how we can get to know him. And in his word, in the Bible, that gives us all that we need to know for the hot topics of social media, sex, money, gender, baked beans.
Baked beans.
Yeah, almost. But doesn't the Bible have mistakes in it?
Well, no, it doesn't have mistakes in it, because this is the way that God has chosen to speak to people. He speaks to us so that we can understand it. It's not some book given from heaven, which is exactly copied.
Yeah.
No.
So that'd be more like the Quran.
That is exactly the way the Quran.
Okay.
Muslims believe the Quran has been given to them.
But the Bible is a little bit more historical rather than revelatory.
Exactly.
Sorry for the big words. That helps us understand it a little bit more.
Exactly, because we believe that it didn't just occur in someone's mind and they just wrote it, an imprint from God. No, but they've been inspired by God to write it. These are real human beings like you and I. They're given with... What's that one? What am I going to say? Sorry.
What are you going to say?
So
they're real humans.
They're real humans.
We want to say it's two things, right? That it's both fully It's a fully human
fully
document.
human document,
And-
and it's also inspired by God. So these are people who have God's Spirit in them, who are writing this word of life so that we can understand it. You and I, not just some person, some priest, not just some scholar,
Yeah.
but so that we can understand who Jesus is and live.
And you can check it out according to history.
Exactly.
And it's all verified by the fact that Jesus endorsed the words of the Bible, both the Old Testament and what the apostles wrote in the New Testament.
Exactly.
So in conclusion, the hottest topic that will affect all of your life is whether or not you can trust the words of the Bible. And I guess it comes back to Jesus. Can you trust him? Thanks, Harbour Youth. Catch you later.